Today we are going to go over the Unit 7 test. Number 1 says the circumference of a circle is c centimeters. The diameter of a circle is 13 centimeters. Which expression best represents the value of pi? So the first thing we need to know is to find the circumference, because that's what we're looking for right here. We need the formula c equals, and there's two different formulas, either c equals pi times d or c equals 2 pi r. Since we're given diameter, we're going to use the pi times d. Now, we do know that it gave us the diameter is 13, so we can rewrite it and say c equals pi 13. Now, it's wanting which expression best represents the value of pi. So what that just means is, what is the equation when pi is by itself? So just like we solve normal equations, we're going to draw a line down the middle. And to get pi by itself, we have to get rid of 13. So we're going to divide by 13. Since we're multiplying pi times 13, we have to do the opposite, which is dividing. What we do to one side of our equation, we do to the other. So we get pi cancels out the 13s. Pi is now by itself. And on the other side, we have c over 13. And that answer is C. Number 2 says the table shows the relationship between the radius r and the diameter d of a circle. Choose the best representation of the relationship between the radius and the diameter of a circle. So you can do this without even looking at the table given, knowing what radius and diameter are comparative. But if you forgot or weren't sure, you can use this table that is given. Now, we can notice each time we go from radius to diameter, we're going up by different amounts. So we're going up by 2 over here. We're going up by 1 over here. Okay, and we know, based on our old stuff, we know that we can do the change of y, which is this side, over the change of x, so 2 over 1, which would give us 2. So it's going up each time by a multiple of 2. Now, something else you could see is that I know 2 times 2 is 4, 3 times 2 is 6, 4 times 2 is 8, 5 times 2 is 10. So all that it's saying is we need to take the radius, multiply it by 2 to get our diameter. And that is h. Number 3 says Rosa sliced an orange into circular pieces to put into a bowl of punch. The piece shown below had a radius of 4 centimeters. Which expression can be used to find the approximate circumference of this piece of orange? So notice it gave us the radius, which is right here, and it's halfway across the circle through the middle. And we are looking for the approximate circumference. Now, circumference, there's two different formulas, c equals pi d and c equals 2 pi r. Since we're given the radius, and it tells us that up here, radius of 4, we can plug in to our formula that has radius. So let's try c equals 2 pi and our radius of 4. So when we look at our equation shown, it would not be A, B, C looks kind of right, but it's using the diameter. D would be your ultimate answer. Number 4 says Peter has a tire with a diameter of 26 inches. How many inches is the radius of his tire? So we learned in problem 2 that radius times 2 equals our diameter. Now, if we're trying to go the other way, diameter down to radius, we have to divide by 2. So we do diameter divide by 2 equals our radius. So now we can plug in the numbers we know. 26 is our diameter. We're dividing that by 2 to get our radius. So let's do the math. 2 goes into 2 one time. Get 0 left over, bring down our 6. 2 goes into 6 3 times. So we get a radius of 13 inches. Number 5 says Miss Jones wants to paint a wall, but not the door on the wall. How many square feet of the wall does Miss Jones need to paint? So all we have to do is find the area of two different shapes and subtract, because we don't want this door right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to do 10 times 15 to get the big square, or rectangle. And that is 150. And then we're going to do 3 times 7 to figure out the door. And that's 21. Now we don't want the door frame, so we're going to subtract that 21 from 150. Got to borrow. 10 minus 1 is 9. 4 minus 2 is 2. And 1 with nothing is 1. So we get C as our answer. Number 6 says Landon used a semicircle, a rectangle, and a right triangle to form the figure shown. Which is the best estimate of the area of the figure in square centimeters? So first, let's start with the semicircle. So we are given the diameter here, and we know for area we need the radius, which is half, at 2. So we're going to do 3.14, which is pi, times by 2, times by 2. Multiply these together to get 4. Then we have to multiply 3.14 times 4. Get 16, carry the 1, 4, 5, and 12. And there's 2 decimals. Now, since it's a semicircle, we have to divide by 2 because that's half a circle. So we're going to take 12.56, divide by 2. So we get 6, which is 12. Bring down the 5, bring up the decimal. Goes in twice, which is 4. Bring down the 6. Get 8 for 16. So we get 6.28. Now we need the rectangle. The rectangle we do base times height, so that's 6 times 4 to get 24. And now we do the triangle. So for the triangle, we are given this bottom side of the entire shape is 10. This top part right here is 6. So if we were to take away this 6 down here, we would be left with just 4, because we would do 10 minus 6 to get 4. Now, the diameter of the circle is also the height of this triangle. So this is also 4. So we're going to do 4 times 4, base times height, divide by 2. 7, 4, 4 together is 16, divide by 2 is 8. So our triangle would be 8. The rectangle is 24. Now we have to add these together. So we get 24 plus 8. 8 and 4 is 12, carry the 1, and that's 3. Now we have to add 628. Make sure we line up our decimals. 8, 2, decimal, 8, and 3. So then we get our closest answer, since it's asking for the best estimate, which is J. Number 7 says Margarita traces a circle with a radius of 20 centimeters, like the circle shown below. She will color in the shaded region. What is the approximate, which means closest area, so we're looking for area, of just the shaded region? So when we look, that is a quarter of the circle, so we're going to have to divide at the end, divide by 4, because it's a quarter of a circle. Now, we need to find the area, so area of a circle is pi r squared, which is just radius times radius. Since we're given the radius, this should be pretty easy. So we're going to do 3.14 times by 20 times by 20. So we multiply 20 and 20 together to get 400. Then we do 400 times 3.14. When you have zeros at the end of multiplying, you can drop them straight down and continue multiplying like you normally would. 4 times 4 is 16, carry the 1. 4 plus 1 is 5. 4 and 3 is 12. We have 2 decimals. So our answer is 1256. But we have to remember this divide by 4. Okay, they do put tricky answers because 1,256 is there. But we do have to divide by 4 because it only wants the shaded region. So we do 1256 divided by 4. So 4 goes into 1 0 times, into 12 3. That is 12. Bring down the 5. 4 goes into 5 once. 4. Bring down the 6. 4 goes into 16 4 times. So our answer is really C. And remember, D was the tricky answer there. Number 8 says the circular blade of a saw has a diameter of 12 inches. Which measurement is closest to the area, so area again, of the blade in square inches? So we have to find, again, the area. So A equals pi r squared. It says our diameter is 12. So all the way across is 12. Meaning halfway across, which is our radius, is 6. So we are going to do 3.14 times by 6 times by 6. Because that radius squared is radius times radius. Now 6 times 6 is 36. We got to multiply it by 3.14 now. 6 times 4 is 24. Carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. X for place value. 3 times 4 is 12. Carry the 1. 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. We add it up. Get 10. Carry the 1. Get 13. Carry the 1. And get 11. There's 2 decimals, so we bring 2 decimals at the bottom. So the closest to the area would be G, 113. Number 9 says an engineer is designing a circular base for a plastic cup holder that will go in a new car. The base of the cup holder has a radius of 5 centimeters. Which measurement is closest to the circumference, very important, of the base in centimeters? Up here, an important part is radius. Now, I'm a picture person, so I'm going to draw a circle, and we know radius is halfway across the circle through the middle. Okay, so now we can continue on. We're looking for circumference. Remember, there's 2 different formulas for circumference. There's one given radius and one given diameter. The one given radius is C equals 2 pi r. So now we can plug in 5 for r, 3.14 for pi, and keep 2 the same. So I'm going to start 2 times 5 because we can do them out of order to get 10. And then I'm going to do 3.14 times by 10. 1, 3, and there's 2 decimals to get 31.4, which is D. And number 10, Brenda wants to attach a string of beads along the circular bottom edge of the lamp. The lampshade shown below. The diameter of the bottom of the lampshade is 16 centimeters. So the diameter down here is 16. That means from one side to the other is 16. Now, it's looking to go around the bottom edge of the lampshade. If we're going around the entire outside of the circle, that is our circumference. So we've got to remember our diameter is 16, but we're looking for the outside edge, which is circumference. So we're going to use our formula C equals pi times D, since we're given the diameter. We can plug in 16 for our diameter, 3.14 for our pi. So when we multiply that out, 6 times 4 is 24, carry the 2. 6 times 1 is 6, plus 2 is 8. 6 times 3 is 18. Put an x for place value. 1 times 4 is 4, 1 times 1 is 1, and 1 times 3 is 3. We add it up, we get 4, it's 12, carry the 1, 9, 10, carry the 1, 4, 5. And there's 2 decimals, so we bring our decimal over 2. It says about. Since it says about, it can be the closest answer, which is G.